What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some Goa trance, though it is also acid trance, and indeed, it comes from a producer who's pretty much known, very prominently in both the acid world and especially the Goa/psytrance world. We're talking about Tim Schuldt, who in the tune we're going to listen to goes by the name Brain Accent. And as you'll notice, I wrote new here, and why did I write that? Because I have a other copy, which I had for longer. But yeah, ultimately he goes by Brain Accent here. He's also gone by Mama Indica, and he made a tune as Mama Indica on this record called Talking Souls. Then he started making records as Talking Souls, which reminds me of Kai Franz, aka Kai Tracid, who as Acute Genius made a tune called Formic Acid and then began releasing records as Formic Acid. In any case, Tim Schuldt, again, like massive pedigree in the Psy/Goa community, but always in that world with a lot of acid, meaning the tunes that he's produced and mastered over the years, and he continues. I don't know if he produces as much these days. I know he is very much still involved in Goa trance releases, and he does a lot of mastering for some of the Sun Trip releases, for example, the Gamma Draconis double LP, which I know I've reacted to like one or two tracks from. Although, as I'm about to say for this record, I may have reacted to them on my old channels, so maybe, I think Icon is on this channel, because I remember like redoing that one. Either way, I'm pretty sure I reacted to the tune we're going to listen to, Orange Acid by Brain Accent, on my old channel, but it's not in my current channel. I checked on YouTube Studio, and eventually I got rid of my old videos, because I don't like my earliest videos. The sound's not right. I told too many anecdotes. Anecdotes are fine, but you have to you gotta earn the right to tell them, essentially, because, people like finding, someone like talking about a track I like, well, they don't necessarily want to hear like 6-7 minutes of intro. Now, people who've been here for a while and who are like, part of the community that helps me learn about different artists and so on, they have come to appreciate part of what we do on the channel and the way I can talk a lot in intros. But the point is, I don't like a lot of my old like trance and techno reactions, so even if I still had the old video, I would like to redo it. So in any case, we are back to listen to Brain Accent's Orange Acid. I believe this is 96. I'm not absolutely certain, but that would be my estimation. Does it say? I'm not sure if it does. Again, it's like ridiculously small print. I think it does say 1996, I think. In any case, I will check on Discogs and I will put it on in the video description. But yeah, this is Cyrex Technologies 1. I don't know, it's not a label that I know very well, so maybe they have a lot of releases, maybe this was one of the only. Sometimes you see labels, it was like 2 or 3 releases over the course of a year and a half and that was it. I don't know if that's the case here, but this is the first release, either way. But here we go. This is Brain Accent, Orange Acid on Cyrex Technologies, I think 1996. And as I mentioned, this is, I don't remember if it's the right tempo. Hold on. Okay, we're good. This is equal parts Goa trance and acid trance. It's acid-Goa, as I often call it when I put it in my mixes. There's like different kinds of Goa, but like the acid-heavy stuff was always some of my favorite. And I've told the story before, but Goa was one of the first styles I listened to because my older brother, who was going to Goa like side parties, he was the one who sort of introduced me to the world of raves. So I heard a lot of Goa early on, and in some of the tracks I was like, man, I really like that one sound. Like, what is that? Like, oh, it's the acid sound. There's like genres where that's more, central to the genre. I was like, go on. And here we are. There's a tune he made as, I think, Mama Indica that kind of has this winnowy, a bit creepy sort of synth. Has a very similar layer. bouncy bass line for a Goa / side tune. Has that hypnotic acid trance quality, but it also has the floaty side melody. Acid transmissions, which now become the main feature in the next section. A Danish duo made Bypass Unit, and they made a lot of tunes that are sort of in this acid-Goa nexus. Watch the way it leads into this drop. It pulls everything out, and it's that little melodic layer which takes it to the final bar. the sort of echoes and warbles like playing off of that. And then there's the higher one that's just oscillating the whole time. Tune like this, the way this ends, this could be the longest double drop out, or it can end your set. Like it gives you options for both there. The intro, I would say, is a bit more like you mix into it. You can start a set that just has a straight kick drum, but there's other records which will have at least sort of a sample and sort of an ambient moment, and then it'll drop in. And sometimes they have longer, more elaborate intros. And obviously tracks like that, or perhaps, at least if you're trying to be, sort of artistic about it, would be a better opener. Now again, sometimes, especially with like warehouse techno, you just drop it, and it doesn't matter if you start with a record where it's literally just a kick drum from the first 64 or whatever. But again, Goa Trance, it's a bit more of an artsy, let's say, like a mystical genre, lots of tracks that sound very like ethereal and, transcendent and so on, samples about astral projection and so on. And as such, again, for me, this is a brilliant tune to be used, again, either in a like acid trance set where you have lots of euphoric, hypnotic acid, or a Goa Trance set where you have a melodic, and acid-infused Goa sound that you're going for. So ultimately, I think it's a multi-use record, but again, I would use it, as the second record or later in the set, not the opening tune. Either way, it's a top track. Both tunes on the other side are good. Anno Domini in particular is good and has some like chant vocals, as you might not be surprised to hear, like given the title. But I don't think either of those tunes is as good as Orange Acid. And yeah, I would say like the stuff that he made as Mama Indica and Talking Souls, it's a lot more like wicked sort of acid, kind of like Green Nuns of the Revolution, or the more acidic side of Astral Projection's catalog. So this release as Brain Accent, it's a bit more like it's maybe 60% acid trance, 40% Goa, whereas some of his other releases, they're like acid heavy Goa, but they're like 60-65% Goa with a lot of acid. So this might be his most overt like acid trance release, but again, it still has psychedelic stylings. So shout out to Tim Schuldt. I didn't know I was a big fan of his because some of these different projects, they're under different names, and in the olden times, there was no internet that we all were using. And then even as we got into the mid-2000s and I started using Discogs, it's a user-based wiki. It's built up over time, and sometimes there's incorrect information that usually gets weeded out. But for whatever reason, I didn't pick up on the fact that a few of these different records, like Brain Accent and Mama Indica and so on, were the same person until years later. And again, I know that as recently as, a year or two ago, he was doing a lot of mastering for Goa Trance releases still. So shout out to long-running servant of the Goa and acid communities, Tim Schuldt. Shout out to Cyrex Technologies. I am actually curious about this because, again, you know, labels like Dragonfly and Twisted and so on, you see them all over. You know, they had many, many releases, but I'm not so sure about this label. Okay, so the answer is it literally had one release. That was it. So it was a division of Planet House. Well, there you go. That's why it was just a one-off, which, you know, maybe that was intentional. Oh, look, I wrote a review about it a year ago, or wait, a year ago, 11 years ago, sorry. But yeah, it's a classic, and it seems like many people seem to share that opinion. Pure magic, this record, says someone else. Orange Acid and Anno Domini are simply amazing. Orange Acid makes me trip out without a single substance needed. Masterful. Orange Acid is a tune that you have to listen to from start to finish. It never gets old. Well, hey, we just did that. So, yeah, basically, I'm not alone in my appreciation for this tune. I do love the layering and just the acid-heavy sound, even though you technically, you know, I think most people would call this Goa trance. So, in any case, I will stop wasting your time, but I will say I will come back soon and do some Mama Indica and Talking Soul, so you can see what I mean when I say it's similar to that, but more on the like twisted Goa end of the spectrum. So we'll be back soon for that. Let me know what you think of this. I will see you then. Peace.